course, we'd be delighted to welcome you. It's a privilege to have you here with us. We're all here. We've got to say so. Go for it, Ray.
Thanks very much, Neil. Good morning.
Morning.
Nice to see you.
See you. Hi.
Great. I travel and go to lots of different places, so I have to always overdress in case I turn up and I realise I'm underdressed. And today I feel overdressed. I didn't realise, my friend Adrian didn't tell me this was mega casual church. Well, it's great to be here. When I get asked, people say to me, well, what do you do? And it's very difficult to know what to say to people. What I do, I'm a canon in the Church of England, and if I say that, well, you know, what does that mean? I don't know really. You know, I'm a minister, but if I say that to people, that conjures up certain images in people's minds, so I want to avoid that. So I like to be a little bit creative in telling people what I do. So I sat next to this lady on an aeroplane at Heathrow Airport, and I said, hello. She said, oh, hello. And I said, where are you going? She said, well, I'm going to Singapore. And she said to me, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Australia. I said, what do you do? So she told me. Then she said, what do you do? And I said, well, I work for a global enterprise. She said, do you? I said, yes, I do. I said, we've got outlets in nearly every country of the world. She said, have you? I said, yes, we have. I said, we've got hospices and hospitals and homeless shelters. I said, we do marriage work, education work, justice work, we've got feeding programs. I said, basically, we look after people from birth to death, and we deal in the area of behavioural alteration. She went, wow! Like, really, really loud, that people all turned around and looked at us. She says, what's it called? I said, it's called the church. Have you heard of it? You know, if we're a follower of Christ, then we're part of the church, and we're part of a global enterprise. And not only is it global, but actually it's intergalactic, because it includes everyone that's gone before us. You know, it's quite a thought, isn't it? Quite a perspective of seeing that. You know, there's this workman, and at the end of a working day, he's leaving the factory, and he's pushing out a wheelbarrow. Inside the wheelbarrow is a small box. He's stopped by a security guard. The guard says, what have you got in the wheelbarrow? He goes, I've got a small box. He goes, I know it's a small box. What is in the box? He goes, well, you know the sawdust that's on the floor, at the end of a working day, it's swept up and thrown away. Well, I needed some sawdust, I put it in a box, and I'm taking it home. He said, open the box, opens it, sawdust. Next day, same thing, third day, same thing, fourth day, same thing, fifth day. He's pushing out his wheelbarrow, inside is a small box. Same guard, he goes, it's you again, what have you got in the wheelbarrow? Sawdust like the other 4 days. He goes, well, open it, opens it, sawdust. The guard goes, I've got this feeling you're up to something. He goes, look, why don't you just tell me what you're up to, and I promise I won't report you. The man goes, all right then, I'm stealing wheelbarrows. Isn't life a little bit like that? It's a little bit like that. You know how so often you get a little bit distracted? You know, you kind of miss the big picture. And so anyway, our hope is that we'll gain a little bit of the big picture. We've brought a few little resources here today. I just want to mention them here, as there probably won't be another opportunity to do that. If any of you Twitter, I'm Canon J John on Twitter, so why don't you Twitter while I'm talking? If you think I say anything sensible, Twitter it. Really nice. Go on, I'm into all of this. You know, get your mobile phones out, start emailing your friends, and all that, you know, get bored, just start writing notes and things, and go on the internet and search for a holiday, I don't mind. But I write an article once a month about all sorts of issues, and I send that by email, and as the board comes round, Sam, if the board comes round, just jot your email down and you'll be sent that. It's really, I find having little aids to help us, particularly with reading the Bible, are very, very helpful. And my wife and I, as well as reading the Bible, we like to read a little daily devotional book. And I have to say, my wife would say, she's here today, would you agree? This is the best daily devotional that we've used. We've used all types over the years. We've married 28 years. Got the silver medal, going for gold. And but this one is called Jesus Calling. Basically, it's 2 minutes a day or less, but it's the Bible written in the first person as if God is speaking to you. And if you're looking for a new little daily devotional, I thoroughly recommend this, called Jesus Calling. Who would like this? Oh, who said me? Come here. I like the fact that you were so quick. Very, very good. What's your name?
Claire.
Who's this?
Percy.
Percy, it's yours. Take it. All right. Now, we just brought a few other books. Listen, I travel a lot, as I mentioned, and I go into a lot of people's loos. And I've got a new crusade. It's time to change the books in the loo. They've been there too long and they're infected. I would not even move them to another room, I would bin them. Okay, if your loo needs a new book, I recommend 26 Steps to Heaven, 100 different subjects, 2 pages on each subject. Normally 2 pages is enough, well, unless you're a little bit constipated. A couple more pages. Sam, come. Right, who wants that book? Okay, that one, right? Now, beginning of the year, we're in January. You know, what are God's priorities? If we don't live by priorities, we're going to live by pressures. Jesus taught us to pray a prayer known as the Lord's Prayer. And many people, many of us, are very familiar with the Lord's Prayer, 69 words. But it's very easy to say those words. What do they actually mean? How do you apply those words? God's priorities. Go on, who wants that one? Here's a book called Valentine's is coming up soon. Whether you're married, whether you're dating or engaged, or you hope one day you'll get married, here's a book called Marriage Works, and it does work and can work, but maybe your relationship needs a bit of an MOT. Marriage Works. Who needs an MOT? There's a little phrase that's kind of done the rounds. What would Jesus do? Well, in fact, the first person who came up with that phrase was Thomas à Kempis 600 years ago. And he wrote a book called The Imitation of Christ. It's probably the best, I would put this, I've read a lot of books, and I would put this in my top 10 best books I've ever read, ever in my life. And in terms of a spiritual classic, The Imitation of Christ, there's a season called Lent in preparation for Easter, and sometimes during that Lent period of 40 days, it's often quite good to read a devotional spiritual book. If you're looking for a complete new book, maybe you've not read The Imitation of Christ, I recommend this very, very much. And nearly all those books, except Jesus Calling, they're all just £5. Yeah, who wants a carry bag? Okay. All right, as I'm vertically challenged, I will stand up here. Okay. I think it's true to say that a lot of people's understanding of Christianity is a misunderstanding. And that's why it's so important for us to be sure about what it is. What is this message? Now, we're in a school, and this school is called St. Birinus. Now, St. Birinus, in 634, he left France, and he came here to Britain to tell people what the message of Christianity was all about. That's why he came. And he evangelized Britain. He educated Britain as to its meaning. There was a woman who was blind and she was deaf, completely blind and completely deaf. And she had a dream that she should come to St. Bruninus and that he should pray for her. And she found him and he prayed for her and she instantly got healed of blindness and deafness. So we're in a school that represents a saint who educated people about Christianity and demonstrated the power of Christ in people's lives. Well, St. John has come from Chorley Wood. Actually, the word saint means follower of Christ. So, St. John has come from Chorley Wood this morning to educate you about Christianity and to pray that we get healed. That's the hope. Now, if you're already a Christian, as you listen to what I'm about to say, I hope it will remind you of things that you already know but you've forgotten. 2, it would reinforce what you already know that needs inking in. And if you're not sure about what the message is, slightly confused, not quite clear, I hope that you will, there'll be kind of like a revelation as you listen to a very simple explanation of Christianity.